So do you kind of feel like, we spoke about the methodology department that you experienced at Valencia and how you kind of implement similar ideas in Malaysia as well. If we have something similar in Korea or in other parts of the world that's similar to that, a very strategic way of planning for the team, for the training, games, and also individually, would that kind of help countries like Korea, or not only Korea, Japan, China, other countries in Asia as well, and even in the U.S., because the U.S. is still developing as a football nation.
Mm-hmm.
Would that kind of do you feel like that would be a boost to improve quality of football in other parts of the world?
Yeah, I think it's a yes, but it's a yes with conditions. Meaning, if we give one book, say, okay, this is a long-term program for the development of the players. Here is explaining with under 10s, with under 12s, with 14s, with 16s, with 18s, and here's the book. And then we think the job is done, then it's not going to work. Then
all right.
I think when the federations develop these programs, one of the mistakes that sometimes happen is we give a book with all the program and all the theory there, and we say to the clubs or to the different associations in the country, here's what you have to do. And then forget. Then at the end, the people who is getting the book is saying, this book is for me, but they don't believe in the book, Then if they get the book, but they don't believe in what is saying inside or why they should do this, then at the end they will say, yes, the book is here, but they are not going to implement these ideas or these theories. And maybe the idea and the theory is very good, but I think at the end, one of the most important things is the people who is there. It's like, okay, we want this. We know we want this. Good. Who is going to make this happen? Then in the clubs and in the associations, we need people who is really devoted and really focused on this to happen. Because at the end, one of the examples can be, we want high rhythm in the games. If we have high intensity, if the games don't stop, we are going to increase, the stamina and the quality of the game, and the players will, instead of play, 30 passes in one game, they will play 50, is much better. Everything is like this. Okay, we know, yes. And later we go to the fields, and for example, the referees or some of the clubs who don't believe in this, they go with the time wasting, they go with, with the delays of everything. And at the end, it's like, hey, but we said this has to happen. But there's some, people or some of the branches of the people involved not doing it is not going to work. Then I think one of the keys or one of the mistakes that sometimes can happen, and I think in most of the places will be the main reason, is some of the people has the idea, okay, we know we have to do this. We saw this before, like I said, in Australia, in Spain, in Canada, in France, in many places. Okay, we have to do this. But this doesn't go to the real place where it has to go, which is the grassroots programs, under 12s, under 14s, under 16s. Then it doesn't go there, doesn't work.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And speaking of, your the investment that you've made with yourself to coaching at the youth level, I cannot help but ask this question to you because our audience is global, but we're Koreans, and I can't avoid asking you this question because I heard from Young Hoon that you are a former coach of Lee Kang-in. I think in Spain they still call him Kanjin Lee.
Kang-in Lee.
A player that you once coached at youth level at Valencia, which to us is really fascinating. And Young-hoon has been aware of this. And when you told me this, I was like, wow, that's super interesting because we don't often get a chance to speak to a coach like that. He's now considered as one of the best players in Asia already at his age. Let me ask you this first. What was your relationship with him like? And what was your experience like coaching him at that level when he was such a youngster?
Okay, the truth is, the year before coming to South Korea, I was coaching one team, and he was 1 year younger. Okay, then he started the season in the younger team, and during that year, he was coming up to train with our group, And at the end of the season, he started to play with the team who was 1 year older because he was excellent in everything he did with ball, right? Then I remember when the club told me to move to South Korea, and I said yes. I told him, hey, Kang-in, I'm going to your country, and I'm going to your country to stay there. Then I would like you to teach me how are the things in there and all these kind of things. Then he bring me, yes, I talked to my parents. Then he bring me to his house, and there is the first time I eat kimchi about South Korea. Anyway, it's true. And yeah, and after that point, I had the luck to be with him in the field for maybe 2 or 3 months, and then I left, and he continued there.
See, so when you met him and having seen him train and having seen him play and things like that when he was younger, that's during a time when we didn't get to see him as often as you did, probably. And he recently joined PSG, one of the most prominent clubs in European football right now. Are you surprised by his big move, or did you see this kid when he was young and did you just think, wow, this kid's gonna be something special?
I think almost everyone back in Valencia FC on those years was thinking he was special because yes, he was different. I mean, uh, when we are training players, you you see in some of them different things like this guy, how he thinks, how mature he is. Maybe this can help him to grow. Or this guy with these technical skills he has, if he adjusts or he adapt, maybe he reach. But some of them are watching them and it's like, this guy, if he doesn't reach first division, is because he has there's an accident on him and he made bad decisions on where to play or where to go. Other than that, he's gonna make it. And yeah, I remember one of the years he was in the reserve team. I was already here in Malaysia. I went back to Spain, and I saw him in one of the days training there. Then I greet him, hey, Kang, how are you? Long time we don't meet. Yes. And I remember I told him, like, if you stay in Valencia, you are going to play in first division for sure. If you move sooner than you should, it depends. So I think it's good for you to stay. And I don't know if he listened to me or not, probably not. So yes, we don't know. But he stayed 2 more years, and Valencia had the situation where economically it was difficult, and this helped him to play, because at the end, if you are young and you move to a very, very big club and they know you are good, but there's no room for you, and if you are in one club who has the chance to promote players because they have to sell some of these guys, some of the stars or these kind of situations, then this is helping the youth guys to grow. And I think Kang-in had some luck in there because Valencia was the right place. And after that, he went to Mallorca, and now he's in PSG. Maybe if he's in PSG because some of the staff in PSG now, they are from Spain and they know him very well from the last years. I don't know. It's just a supposition. But at the end, it's fair for him. If he got the chance, he has to take it and enjoy and try to play as much as possible.
Yeah, no, and I want to relate it to that, not exactly related to the player, but I wanted to ask you a coaching question that's sort of related to Kang-in, I guess. But one of the biggest difficulties that he had, one of the biggest difficulties that Kang-in had when he was growing up as a player, it was that he was sort of reliant on playing as a 10 and not many other positions when he was younger. I felt like when he was playing out of position, it was kind of difficult for him to make the impact that he could make as a 10. We all knew that his talents were there, like you said. Just having you watch him for about 5 minutes and you can tell that there's something special about him. But his lack of positional versatility, if you can call it that, was a bit of a concern to a lot of us. And as a coach, though, when you're coaching a player like that, a special talent who's sort of like reliant on a particular style of play, how do you get the most out of a player like that, especially at youth level? Do you accommodate him by putting him in a position where he feels comfortable, or do you kind of have to challenge him to expand his boundary, I guess?
Yeah, it's a tricky situation, right? Because at the end, here there's 2 points of view. What is more important, the player or the team? What is more important? At the end, go back to the culture of the club and the situation, right? Then, for example, Kangin, if he is not versatile, like you said, and he has to play in this position, like this club is playing, or like this team where he is playing, he fits in there. If he fits, then it's fantastic. We don't need to adjust anything. It's just the piece in there, boom, and everything is working, right? But if his profile doesn't fit totally in how the team or how the coach or how the club wants to do, then at the end, when the day arrives where somebody has to make the decision. I don't know if it's the coach, the club, or the manager, or I don't know who, but the day arrives, the player or the team, the player or the club. Then who wins? It depends. Sometimes the player wins, sometimes the team win. If we change the whole team because of one guy and the things doesn't work, then one project can go to trash. If you trust everything to one guy and then this guy booms and help everyone, despite of the changes, to become better, then everything is successful. Then it's tricky. If you ask me what is better, the team or the player, I don't know if I'm not that day in that place and I know deeply what is going on, because if not, I can say to you, thank it, and yes, but my friend, you know who was also in that team? This guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, and it's like, okay, maybe, right? And if I say the team, then you can say, but how can he's in PSG? Are you crazy? And it's like, yes. Then it's tricky because I think you have to be there and see how's everything to do. But yeah, it can happen. Sometimes you have to make decisions, right? This player or that player, and sometimes the teams or the clubs or the coaches, they know they are going to lose one gem in something in exchange, and there's decisions who are not only regarding this player or this team. There's in football many things involved. So I don't want to judge if the moves done back there were good or bad. What I know at the end is, like Kangin, we saw he was special, and he ended up playing in the top level, right? So good for him.
Yeah, the reason why we ask about his sort of development process is because one thing that really surprised us, because we don't normally see this with many players around the world, is that over the last year, a year and a half, or maybe as much as 2 years, it seems like having watched his games, he's gotten faster and stronger in the last year or so, and that's surprising to me because, I mean, the fact that he looks faster and stronger in his football actions, I always thought, the speed and the burst of power and things like that when you move around, these are things you either have as a player or you don't. I never knew that this could be something that could be achieved by training. So what's your opinion on this? Or maybe this is the kind of skill that Kangin has always had, but he just had to bring it out of him. Or maybe it's something that he didn't have, but he was able to develop. And for a lot of players, I know this is a challenge, because for me, when I was playing football at a very young age, I wasn't very fast. And it wasn't like effort didn't make that change for me. So how does that work with a lot of players? From a coaching perspective, um, is it possible to improve a player's speed, or in terms of his strength when he's moving, things of that nature? Is that something that's achievable by training him?
It's achievable. The thing is, for example, we are coaching here a team with 18 and 19-year-old boys, and we have some of the players look like kids, and they are 18 years old, and some of them look like adults, and they are 18 years old. Then one of the things that happen in football is, like, each player, each body is different. Then the development of the body is different. Some people, they grow very fast when they are 13. Some people, they grow when they are 16, and later on, when you are 19, 20, 22 years old, there's a phase where the body accommodates, and you grow your muscle mass, right? Then it happens, and not only maybe with Kang-in, with other players that they are 17, 18, 19 years old. They start to play in first division, and 2 years later, you see one photo of them, and you say, "Who? They put him in the gym because now he looks much bigger." And I look at this, and it's like he has been in the gym probably since he's 14, doing different things, but for sure he has been in the gym. Then at the end, if he's faster and stronger, of course, it's because of training, obviously, but can be also a issue of matureness, right? His body is still adapting a little bit. Then not all the players they reach the peak when they are 18. Some they reach in 18, some on 20, some 22, and I'm sure maybe somebody with 23 or 24 years old. Then the training is important, is super important, because at the end this is going to help to reach your peak maybe a little bit later and higher, right? But I don't think is a bad training what happened when he was 18 because he was not faster enough or something. He had this, this body, this condition, and for sure he was well trained. The thing is, we tend to grow in many aspects, and to me 18 is not the age where everything is done. Is to me is later.
Young-hoon, if you have any questions that you wanna any conversations that you wanna have with Gonzalo, I think we can kind of fit it in right now, or otherwise, I think we can ask a couple more questions and wrap up.
Personally, I want to ask you always, but I always forgetting about this, so I want to ask you this. When I were talking with you, when you were in department, when you were in methodology department, I thought you were suffering a little bit because it's office work, not a pitch work. So I think when I was in conversation with you, I thought now Gonzalo is suffering a little bit because now he's in the office, not on the pitch. He's in the office every day, maybe 7 or 8 hours. So now I thought he's suffering. But how was it feel? How was your opinion about that experience?
I think it was necessary, right? When you are a football coach, you love to be in the field. I mean, it's there. You step into the field, you train, and then your brain heals. I say my brain heals when I'm training. I have everything is burning. You have many things and many ideas in your mind, and when you are on training, is only that activity. You forget about everything else. You get healed, right? Then the problem that we have, the coaches, is when we have one job or one duty where we are not stepping in the field, like you said, we suffer, right? Because like I would like to be there. Then yeah, the training is necessary, but sometimes the experience of being in one side also helps you to understand the things different or better. So I would like to be always outside the field. No, not at all. But I think if you have periods where you can, try to do things different or from different perspectives, this can help you to grow.
Yeah, interesting. And how was the building process in Malaysia? I always talk to people that I worked with Gonzalo, and he worked with me, and he is the one who created all these vocabularies from Spanish words to English words. For example, desmarque, on mark. Desmarque means the player, what the players do when they don't have the ball. So, but he made the words, and we used it, and all the players, all the coaches in Valencia Academy, we used it. And I think it's a good thing because not just for coaches, from the communication between coaches and players, this tactical communication helps a lot. And I think Spain has this in their whole territory because the federation made it, some those words, so now they are good. I think this part is pretty important. So I'd like to ask you, that building process experience in Korea helped you in Malaysia too?
Yes, a lot. You remember we call it tactical communication, right? The coaches and the players, they talk to each other using the same. Then the players inside the field, most of the times they use these words. Then at the end, it's a language that we adapt or we adjust to what we need. and this is helping everyone to communicate better and to understand better, and it's not something that is maybe essential, but if you are in academy and you are developing kids from 12 to 20, I think it's very important, because at the end it's part of the identity. It's like, is who we are, is also who we are, is how we talk and how we express ourselves, right? Then it's very important to me.
I wanted to talk about this because since when I came back from the Spain, almost many from my friends, some of my friends who don't have any relationship with football, but also many Korean coaches, once they asked me, Young-ho, what is the difference between Spain and Korea? What is the biggest difference in football, in football, Spanish football and Korean football? And then I say, I'd like to say, we Koreans have to understand football as a human activity, because it's a human activity, what humans do. So we have to understand it that way. But maybe we isolate it too much. So because humans do communications, we have to understand how it works and how it can be effective. So you can say some word, you can say a word, but with that word you think this, but other people think in other way. So
Different.
we have to define. Yeah, we have to define it. We have to we have to think. When we remind that word, we have to think in same way. So, but maybe we still don't arrive that level, I think.
Yeah, but like I said before, if some people is hearing us and he can get this idea, he can start to apply by themselves. And if they have small academies or they are working for a different labs, they can bring up this, and the moment everyone else see that is useful, then it's like, oh, this is a must, it has to be here. And it's going to happen everywhere. No, can we impose to everyone? Of course not. But at the end is what I think, right? It's like, I see this and I didn't invent this. It's not, it's not something I said, oh, I'm the first one doing this. No, but what I do is I observe the others. Then, oh, these guys are talking, and this is useful. Then I'm going to try to do the same for me, and we are going to be better. And I think the moment they see this is useful, this moment they are going to do. And not only the communication, like many other things, right? For the training programs and the weekly plans and all these things, when you see there's at the end of the year, okay, let's check. Okay, doing this, we have 10 less injured guys this year, or we have more injuries, or it's not only who play or who don't play, it's, you have to assess everything, and when the different departments come together, and and you can observe all these things, at the end is like, okay, good, this is working because of the experience and different, not only our experience, other studies and our experience, this is working, we have to keep doing this. This is not working, okay, good, this one we don't need anymore, or we need different. And I think the process of assessment and evaluation of everything you do is very important, because if you are training and say, no, this is like this because it's coming from Spain and they do and it's good, problem. If you give one book, this book is coming from I don't know where, this is what you have to do. No, you have to, like I said, you have to put the hands there, you have to give shape to everything, you have to assess, and it's the day by day, it's the day to become better.
Yeah, you have to adjust and you have to adapt to yourself too.
Of course, you have to adapt. If you take exactly the same from somewhere else, something will be missing for sure.
Yeah.
Should we wrap up? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up just one last question, because we ended our first episode with the same question, and I kind of plan on using this same question to end each of our episodes. So Gonzalo, so if you can kind of share with us how you felt about being involved in this conversation with us, the experience that you've had with us, and also if you can kind of share with us what you're aiming to accomplish as a football coach going forward, what your I don't want to say ultimate goal because that sounds a little too serious, but if you can kind of share your ideas as to what kind of coach that you would like to continue to become, and your overall experience, just having this conversation with us here today, that would be a great way to wrap up the show, I think.
Well, if I tell you the truth, in the day by day, what I want is to be happy, right? Some people, I go back to Spain and say, hey, you still in Malaysia? It's like, you stay in Malaysia doesn't sound good. I'm still in Malaysia and I'm super happy, and I'm coaching there and I feel realized at some point. Then what I want to be is to be happy training and to feel that the things are going better with the kids you have, or with the boys you have, or with the seniors you have, and with this we go. And of course, you want to win. Of course, I want to win. But if I have the feeling, if I have the obsession, we have to win, then you block, yourself, and the things doesn't work sometimes. Then I always tell the players, hey, we are going to give everything we have to get the points, but if not, we have to feel we tried, and we tried very, very hard. What we cannot feel is like we lost and we give up. This cannot happen, right? Then the objective as a coach is to win as much as possible, but to win because we train and we try to apply everything we learn very hard. And later on we will see if I have the chance to go to higher positions or higher experiences, I will try to take it. Yes, 100%. But I repeat, I want to be happy. And then the last thing regarding your program, I repeat, I'm proud and happy to be here. I know Yong-Hun from 9 years ago, and he has been always an excellent human, how can I say, like human being with me, and the help he surrendered always was astonishing. And and the last thing is, this kind of chats are very nice, because we start saying, we do a short chat, blah blah blah, we can stop talk hours and hours and hours. So I'm very glad to be part of your podcast, and I will try to, if you won't remember me when it comes, I will watch again, and the next episodes, of course, I will hear also.
Thank you so much, and we want to thank you for taking your time, because with all the time difference between Korea, the US, and Malaysia, I know it gets a little difficult, but I think we figured out a way to make this work. So thank you so much for taking your time. So that's it for us for episode number 2 with Gonzalo. It's been a great time. Really enjoyed our conversation. We'll be back with episode number 3 with another very special guest, but we'll keep that a secret for now. So we'll be back for next time. And until then, goodbye, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
감사합니다.